What is going on, guys? Money Webby here, back again on Friday. Get a nice 12-game slate here tonight. I get it broken down for you 6 of my favorite plays on the slate. My money 6, 2 pitchers, 4 batters to hopefully get it done for you here tonight. Get some money, hopefully. So last night, another night where it just didn't work out for one of my pitchers, Nathan Eovaldi. Struggled with his command. Typically not a guy that walks a lot of batters. And he let up 2 home runs as well. Like all 5 of his runs came in 1 inning. Really sucked in that one. I was hoping for a little bit less walks and obviously not allowing 2 home runs in a good pitching condition kind of game. So that really sucked. And then John Gray was pretty good. Just didn't get any run support. Then he let up a home run in like the 7th inning or so. So that kind of sucked. And also, at the end of his outing, he actually got a strikeout, but then the ump overturned it, saying that it wasn't like a foul tip strikeout. So he lost that strikeout. So that was kind of a slap in the balls a little bit there. But hopefully, we can just finally get some good production from both of our pitchers. Our hitters did really good again. We had Acuna go deep once, had a triple. So he was really good. And also, Pete Alonso hit an absolute missile for us. So that was good. Also had a single in that game. So 2 really good hitters, but the pitching let us down again. So hopefully some better fortune. Apologize for that. Drop a like, though, if you're ready for hopefully some better luck there. And hopefully I can finally pick out a guy that doesn't have terrible command and lets up home runs. So let's get into it, though. First up, I'm going to go with Patrick Corbin. There is really kind of bad weather in this game as of right now, but it is early, so things could change. So I'm going to just assume that this game plays out for talking purposes right now. So going against Pittsburgh, their lineup has been really bad against lefties, and they really don't have any guy in this lineup that really scares you against a lefty. We saw Jose Quintana really do well against them, and Corbin is a much better pitcher than Quintana, I would say. I thought Starlin Marte would get to him, but he struck out twice against Quintana, and Corbin, much better strikeout pitcher. Quintana had like 11 Ks in that game. Corbin is a guy last year that had a 30% K rate, coming off a game against the Mets as well where he got 9 Ks. So really good ability there. The Pirates, without a few of their best hitters, they're only implied 3.4 runs. And this is just a really good spot for Corbin. So if the weather kind of clears up a little bit, and this game is safe, I like Corbin a lot. So for the talking purposes, I'll lock him in for now. But obviously, if things don't look any better as the day goes on, I will have to pivot to another pitcher. As of right now, I'm thinking I would pivot to either J.A. Happ or Eduardo Rodriguez. I'm not entirely sure. There is some weather concerns in that Yankees game as well. And it's not really great pitching conditions, obviously, in New York. And it's going to be pretty hot. So that situation can be a little bit risky, but he does have really good strikeout upside. And Eduardo Rodriguez has had really good games against Baltimore in the past, some really good BVP history, and he does have the ability. He's just had a really tough start to the year. So I'm not entirely sure. I will tweet out, though, if anything changes with the weather in Washington and if I have to pivot off Corbin. But for my second guy, I'm going to go with Jake Arrieta here at 8,800. Going against Miami, a perfect situation for him to bounce back against a team that has been absolutely dreadful against right-handed pitchers so far in the year. They have a 188 batting average versus righties and a 33% K rate. And it's not that small of a sample. It's been like 260 at bats. So it's a pretty sizable sample so far, even though it's only been like 13 games or something like that. But this is a really good spot for Arrieta to get it done. It's a park upgrade going to Miami. And I think he has a really good shot at getting some run support as well and be able to get the win in this game against Miami. I feel like Arrieta always does well. Pitching in Miami, just from what I'm thinking about last year, I feel like he had some good games in Miami. Could be a complete shot in the dark that I could be lying to you, but I feel like this is a really good spot for Arrieta, just based on everything I said, with the terrible kind of hitting ability against righties, and Arrieta looking for a bounce back after a tough outing against Minnesota, a team that Minnesota has been really tough to pitch against, it seems like, this year, with them not really striking out that much. So that was a really tough spot, but I think this is a much easier spot for Arrieta. So I'm going to go ahead and lock him in there as my second guy. But like I said, obviously, if the weather doesn't clear up, I will have to pivot off Patrick Corbin. But for my first hitter, I'm going to go with Chapman here at 4,600. Big park upgrade going to Texas and going against one of the worst pitchers so far in the league. This guy allows a ton of hard contact, a ton of home runs, already allowing I think like 3 home runs to right-handed batters so far in the season. And even in 2016, the last time he pitched, he allowed around 1.7 home runs per 9. So a really easy guy to go deep on. Chapman, some really good power to start the season. Coming off a 34-point outing against Baltimore in that same kind of park upgrade. Their implied 5.3 runs. And just a really easy and obvious spot, I feel like, with the Athletics here. Going against Drew Smyly. So I'm going to go ahead and lock him in there as my first guy. I'm going to go with Piscotty as well. A nice stack with the A's at 4,100, one of the better values on the A's. And Piscotty showed some good power against lefties last year, and so far this season, he has a 205. He had a 205 ISO against lefties last year, and this year already 4 extra base hits with 2 doubles, 2 home runs, and just 22 at bats so far against lefties. So really solid ability against them. Big park upgrade, like I mentioned. Piscotty is around that kind of good kind of meat of the order, around that like 3 spot or so. So really good upside at 4,100. Can definitely go deep and get a lot of RBIs. So I'm going to go ahead and lock him in there as my second hitter. I'm going to go with George Springer against another lefty here at 4,300. Having a much better start to the season, I would say, just power-wise against lefties. He did have a down season last year against lefties where he wasn't able to really have that same kind of power. But so far on the season has a 462 ISO and a 50% hard hit rate versus left-handed pitchers, kind of doing what he did in 2017, 2016 with his ability against lefties. He's always been good against them. And going against Wade LeBlanc, definitely not a great pitcher, around a little bit below average, I would say. And Astros, they have a pretty healthy run total at 4.8 runs, and LeBlanc has been allowing around 1.4 home runs per 9 the last 3 seasons. So he definitely is a guy that can allow a few home runs. And Springer has one of the better values on the Astros at leadoff spot. He can get up to 5 at bats. And he does have stolen base ability, as we saw yesterday with the stolen base. So I'm going to go ahead and lock him in there as my third hitter. Then I'm going to go with Odor as my final guy, going against Mike Fiers here at 3,800. Solid value for a team that's implied around 5 runs. Odor around that 3 spot in the order. Can definitely go deep, get some more RBIs. He's typically very good in Texas. Last year he was only 6 games so far. Still averaging a bit more fantasy points per game. But I remember last year he had huge splits in and out of Texas. So back in Texas here, going against Fiers, who has a big park downgrade and has been allowing a lot of home runs over the last 2 years. So definitely not a good park from the pitching in Texas, with the fact that he's allowing a lot of hard contact and a lot of home runs. And Odor has shown some good power against him in the past. He's 5 for 22 with a double, a triple, and 2 home runs. So what is that? Like 4 extra base hits and just 22 plate appearances. So really good ability. And he does have stolen base ability against Mike Fiers, a guy that does allow a few stolen bases. And Odor does have some good speed. So at 3,800, I'm going to go ahead and lock him in there as my final guy. And those are the 6 plays. You got Corbin, Arrieta, Odor, Chapman, Piscotty, and George Springer. Obviously, like I said, if that Washington game doesn't clear up, we should get word before lock, as it is at 7 p.m. And I will tweet out my pivot, whether it be, as of right now, it looks like it's going to be J.A. Happ or Eduardo Rodriguez. Maybe you can pick for yourself who you like better, and out of those 2. But good luck here tonight. Hopefully our pitchers finally have some better games. I feel like last year I was a lot better picking the pitchers, but so far it's been the absolute opposite. But hopefully things pan out. So go ahead and drop a like if you enjoyed the video. Again, apologize for the bad production from my pitchers. Hopefully this is a bounce back game for them. But subscribe to the channel if you want to keep it locked here and continue to get some MLB DraftKings plays. Like I said in the comments yesterday, maybe you can just fade my pitchers if you don't want to continue with my cold streak. But good luck here tonight, and we'll see you back here again next time.